How about that new intro? I'm impressed. I love it. What's up, everybody? I'm Kathleen Martin. I'm here for Sketch Party with you. And let me know if you can hear me, because I haven't streamed in a couple weeks, so sometimes you forget things like turning on the microphone. But I think we're good. We're good. All right, let's see who's in the chat. We've got Jerry Garcia. What's up? Chad, hello. Jason, hello. Good to see you guys. Yeah, you love it too, Julia. Awesome. Well, I really missed you guys. I'm really glad to be back with you after a short vacation. And we're going to be getting down to some sketching in Fresco. It's going to be awesome. If you don't know what Fresco is, it's a drawing and painting app. And we're going to be doing some charcoal sketching. It's going to be great. Now, usually with Sketch Party, we start with like a bunch of different color palettes, and y'all help me decide what color palette to use. And then it's kind of like it's almost like a challenge, like how well can I do this, or how badly can I do this? But today I wanted it to be more of like a drawing exercise / drawing lesson that we can all do together. What's up, Steve? Missed you. Munir, hello. So if you want to sketch with me, all you're gonna need is a camera or a mirror or just your brain and some paper and a pencil or an iPad. So if you want to work alongside me, that is your short equipment list. Ain't no party like a sketch party. I agree. Jan Eric can hear me. There are intergalactic planets forming behind me. Are there? And my arms are being cut off. This is just an intergalactic, interstellar party. Love it. Okay, so let's jump into Fresco. How does that sound? Let's bump over here to me iPad. And while I'm getting this all set up, chat, let me know how you have been. How are you holding up? How are you hanging in there? Anything new? Fill me in. We haven't chatted in a couple weeks. And let me know if any of you are participating in the current daily creative challenges. A new set just launched today. Jesus is doing the daily creative challenge for Photoshop, which is awesome. Andrea just finished hers for XD. Very nice. I'm going to be hosting the next Photoshop one. Spoiler alert, I'm back. The Meow Pad, yes, Jan-Eric, exactly. So we've got the iPad open, got our music playing. I think we're good to go. So if you've ever used Fresco before, you know that it's really, really awesome, stellar, intergalactic at doing mixed media digital work. So it's not actually mixed media, because the only media here is the iPad, but you have awesome charcoal brushes, you have pencils, you have pens, you have ink, you have markers, you even have watercolors and oils, and you even have vector. So we're going to be showing off some of those awesome, more traditional brushes, specifically the charcoal brushes today, and we'll jump into the lesson in just a minute. Julia says, I just started the daily creative challenges, Julia. Greg says it's a slow day at work, so I'm chilling. Straight chilling with Greg. Sounds like a podcast. I like it. So I'm super inspired by, there's a picture of me that I'm going to be using. You can use too. But I've been inspired by Tina Burning's work. So there are these awesome lines. Now this might be graphite, but it kind of looks like it could be like vine charcoal or a charcoal pencil. So these kind of detailed faces mixed with some more minimal forms for the hair and the arms, and then some really more abstract areas for the dress and the body. If you want to get more inspiration from Tina, you can check out Tina_Burning on Instagram. But today's process and exercise is along these lines. So we're going to go through the whole sketch process. How do you sketch? How do you put down your gesture lines? How do you build up a sketch from a sketch to a finished piece? And where do you add detail and keep things more minimal? And then tomorrow, I was thinking we could have a little bit more fun and do some contour drawing or monolinear drawing. So no erasing, just drawing without picking up the pen, and seeing how these two portraits kind of compare to each other at the end of Sketch Party tomorrow. Jan Eric says, has anyone tried to use traditional paint on the iPad screen? Not I. Mostly because this is Adobe Live's iPad, and I would never. Sorry, I'm getting a warning that says that my buffering is really high. So if you guys are losing me, put it in the chat, let me know. Okay, back to Fresco. So I've already taken a picture of myself. I find myself more comfortable drawing myself when I'm learning new techniques, because I feel like if I draw someone else and I make it not look like them, or I push their proportions too far, they might get offended, or I might hurt their feelings, or I might not be comfortable taking those kind of leaps. So I like drawing myself because I'm not going to offend myself with my bad drawings. Julia says, do you need to use an iPad for Fresco? It is available on Windows devices, but if you want to use it on the desktop, I would recommend just using Photoshop. Same old, same old. The pencil has 0% charge. Yours does or mine does? I hope mine is charged up. It needs to be charged up. Okay, so to get a photo into Fresco, I just took it on my phone and airdropped it to the iPad, but you could take it with your iPad. But once you have it actually on your iPad, I'm just gonna tap over here, click my photos, grab my photo, and drop it in. It's me. Now it looks a little squished up on what you see. I think you guys are seeing a aspect ratio that's a little bit different. Maybe I should change that really quick. Hold please. I'm not that squished in real life, I promise. Do this. Here we go. That's more like it. Some things might be cut off at the bottom, but not important things, not like feet. Okay. Boom. So we have our sketch. I'll just drop this in because we can make edits to it later, or we have our photo, and I'm going to drop down the opacity. And we're not going to trace over this. This is just going to be our reference. That's why I mentioned that you could use a mirror if you want to, or just your own imagination. So I'm not sketching over this. I just want to look at my face and figure out where my proportions are. So since we are not tracing, I'm just going to make it smaller, pull it over here to the side, and that way I have my reference, but it's not too distracting. I also recommend, if you are going to be drawing something and trying to make it look real or like an actual person, try and keep your drawing surface at the same plane or angle as the thing is. So best case scenario, this iPad would be almost vertical, 90 degrees. So I could really not skew any of my perspectives or aspect ratios. But since this is the stand I have, that's what we're going to go for. All right, so let's jump into some of these charcoal brushes, and then we'll talk about the sketch process. The sketch of the sketch party. This is like beginner's sketch party. Love it. All right, so to get to the charcoal brushes, we're gonna go to pixel brushes, charcoal, and then I think we have like 7 in here to choose from. Very exciting. If you've ever been in like a drawing class and had to actually use charcoal, you know that there are different densities to charcoal. So the really soft charcoal is going to be darker, and then the really hard charcoal is going to be lighter, just like a pencil. Like a 2H is going to be lighter than a 2B. Does that make sense? Let me know, chat, if you've ever taken a drawing class or drawn with real charcoal before. It's one of my favorite things to draw with. We've got Satyendra over on YouTube. Come join us on Behance. That's where I'm looking at the chat. All right, so we've got our charcoal pencils, and first I'm just going to do a quick little sketcheroo, just a little scribble to know how these work. So I'll zoom in a little bit. This is the classic charcoal pencil. I'm pressing harder to get the darker values, but you'll notice even if I press pretty lightly, the value is still dark. It's just a thin line. So that's one thing to keep in mind. So let's go to the variant and see how that goes. So this one feels a little more soft, like it almost has a little bit of wetness and texture behind it. So if you've ever drawn with a wet charcoal pencil, that might feel a little more like it. Vine charcoal is like the charcoal that you get that's not cased like a pencil. It like looks like a little twig. So that feels nice and soft. That might be nice for adding in some shadows. more vine charcoal. This one has some more texture built into it. And we can just quickly look at all of these. Do you guys have a favorite so far? I think we'll probably start with the variant, the pencil 2, or the charcoal pencil variant, and then go from there. Sam says, I did a life drawing class when I first started. Really need to do it again sometime. Been years, same. Life drawing, I think, was the best drawing class I ever took. Most helpful to my drawing skills, especially because they were just so long. Long studio classes, 3 to 6 hours, and you just with the wheel. So first things first, we're going to make sure we are drawing on an empty layer, or if you are using a pencil, then you can just draw on normal paper. And let's go through the sketching process. So for me, I like to draw a gesture first, and this makes sure that our drawing is going from loose to more constrained and refined. So I'm more of a loose drawer, so I need these multiple steps to really kind of nail down my drawing as I go. Some people can just draw the most beautiful, intricate work that's really true to life right off the bat, but I need a couple extra steps in there. Oh no, it's a little choppy for you. Fingers crossed that we survive the hour. So a gesture is just that. It's a very emotive drawing. It's almost like just lines that are going to get you the emotion of the piece. So I'm going to start with kind of the gesture of the angle that I'm looking, kind of looking to the side. Got the curve of the neck, the shoulders, and I like to do one shoulder kind of higher than the other just to add a little bit of movement. Got the eye line, maybe where the nose might be. And then some curves of the face. Okay, so this isn't super true to life or realistic yet, but this is the loosest, almost sloppiest version of the sketch. We've got our shoulder line, our face line, some contours, and we're just loosely plotting out the emotion, the movement of our piece. Alrighty. Now before moving on, I want to decrease the size of this so that we make sure that we are working within the bounds of our canvas. You can even work on pushing and pulling the perspectives now, but we'll just go for that. There we go, and I might even rotate my canvas so that it is tall instead of wide, and then just rotate my work. Nice, that's a much more of a portrait style, wouldn't you say? Vertical. Portrait, as they say, instead of landscape. Okay. Nice. So I'm going to turn down the opacity of this sketch and we can start on the next layer of complexity. So we started with our gesture. Now let's go for something a little more tightened up. This is what I would just consider like the thumbnail or the sketch. We're trying to be a little bit more real to life, designating where we want to put details, but we're not really trying to nail down the likeness at this point. So we are going back in, looking at the reference, and this is when I'm going to start kind of just noting like the shape of the forehead. Maybe I'll do a new layer actually, so it is a little bit darker. Shape of the forehead, nice and round and large. Some might call it a 5 head. I would say they are correct. The cheekbone. And then here, don't be scared to kind of draw in larger shapes, like the entire cheekbone circle, to help you fill out that form. Because guess what? We're going to do another layer of sketching. On top of this, Lee is looking all glowy. You know how I do, Lee. How are you, by the way? Good to see you. All right, drop in that strong jawline. I wish. And I'm gonna start to exaggerate things a little bit, like the roundness at the bottom of the chin, just to get a feeling that the cheekbone and the chin are all very organic and human pieces, so they're a little bit rounder. Cool. Portrait and figure drawing is my absolute fave, says Sam Peterson. I believe it because your figures are awesome. Your paintings are super photorealistic, I believe. All right, I might even drop in a little bit of cheekbone here. Kind of box in where the eyes might be. Now let's go back to my inspiration really quick, because this is when we're gonna start to decide where we put in detail and where we leave it out. Eric says, looks way better than yours. Are you doing one, Eric? I'd like to see your sketching, if you do. So for example, in Tina's sketch, there's a lot of emotion and rendering in the eyes. There's not a lot, like it's not photorealistic, but there's more than anywhere else in the work. So you can decide where you want the viewer to look. I love focusing on like the face and the hands and the hair. So we might focus on maybe the face and the hair in this one, but keep everything else pretty simple and maybe not super realistic. We'll see where we land. I'm not too concerned about making this look exactly like me, but I do want it to be an emotive face. Oh, it's talking about you as a person. Get to sketching, Eric. I want to see anyways. Okay, so if we are going to put more detail on the eyes and the face, then I'm going to just take a little bit more time kind of seeing where the eyes actually line up, how big they actually are compared to other parts of the sketch. I'm double finger tapping to undo things, and we can just build up our shapes. This is one part of whenever I'm doing a self-portrait that I always have a hard time with, is how far apart to draw the eyes, because technically my eyes are pretty far apart. Like they're definitely not close set together, but sometimes I draw them way too far apart and then I look like a fish person, which I mean, is not wrong, but if we're trying to be a little bit realistic to who I am and what I look like, these are all important things to think about and to think about for yourself. You can also think about like what features of yourself do you want to exaggerate? Where is my pencil and why isn't it working? Let's try and link it again. There we go. So for me, like I might make the eyes a little bit bigger and the nose a little bit more prominent, since it is almost like a profile. And having a nose that's a little bit bigger in a profile might help exaggerate and increase kind of the lines and the emotion a little bit. I keep losing connection with my pencil. Needs to take a little nap. Oh, it's at 0%, that's why. That's not good. That's not good at all. I think we have another Apple Pencil around here though. Shall I try and find it? I might be able to see it just from here. Going on a quest to find the Apple Pencil. Well, while we wait for this to charge up a little bit, if you guys have any questions, let me know. I'm here. I'm a captive audience. You guys are funny. Talking in the chat about interrobangs, getting excited about grammar and punctuation. Jerry says, oh geez, you knew it, Jerry. You knew something like this was going to happen during this stream, didn't you? Didn't you? Laughs and Wacom. I know. How do those pins work, Jan Eric? They never die. Always around. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn up the music a little bit. I'm going to pop into the other room, go grab that Apple Pencil, and we'll see what we can do. And while I'm gone, answer Sam's question in the chat. Okay. I'm back. This is why I love live. Steve says eats cheese. I think this is the only time this has ever happened to me personally. Let's try this pencil, see if it's any more alive. Might not be. Come on. 100%, baby. That's what I like to hear. That's a good thing about having 2 random iPads sitting around. Empty chair. This is so zen. Oh, I'll turn on the music. Too loud, too loud. It makes victory all the sweeter. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so you guys all answered Sam's question while I was gone, hopefully. Oh yeah, nothing like 100% charged Apple Pencil. So one thing I'm noticing about my eye is it's like wider near the front and tapers down into more of like an almond shape near the back. So I want to make sure I capture that. And at this point, I try not to draw any like pupils or even irises in, because that can kind of change the direction of your work, I've found. So we're just drawing literally like my eye socket, my eyeball. Party time, whoop whoop. Why don't we all have random iPads lying around? I'm a lucky lady. Okay. So our sketch is going all right. Just double checking kind of the shapes and sizes of things. I think this actually needs to come out more. I'm excited to get to this hair. No random iPads here, just one half charged up cat. Half charged. Now you can see in my sketch, I drew the nose and the mouth way too small. So let's increase that a little bit. I'm just basically going to draw the top edge of my nose. And just make sure I'm getting like angles correct. That's all I'm really worrying about at the moment. There's like this slight downward angle from the tip. And then the eyebrow. All right. Slowly filling in shapes. The awesome thing about these charcoal pencils is you can be super light and just kind of get these nuanced shapes in there. You can tilt your pencil to the side and fill it in like this, or be more precise just with the tip. So I'm kind of using the side to not have to really commit to the shape yet. I'm slowly just filling in as I see fit. And then once we're on more of a final stage, I'll use the designated tip to make it more specific. Always stop at 80% cat charge. That's what your vet says. You would not be able to handle the 100% cat charge. What's up, Sarah? Good to see ya. Awesome Adventures on YouTube says, so you're not live? Oh, this is very live. Did you not see the great Apple Pencil blender of 2020? I almost said 2019. And that says something about how today's going. Sarah, how are things in Manchester? Doing all right over there? All right, we're gonna sketch in a little bit of the lip. The lip. Really just focus on kind of like the contour of the top. The little smirk. Get a vague shape of the bottom. And that's looking pretty good. It's almost too detailed. We want to even be more emotive with this. So this is where our gesture is going to come in, especially with the line of the neck. So in my photograph, I'm kind of looking over my shoulder like this, and I want to exaggerate this line as much as I can, just to keep it looking fluid. A nice fluid sketch. So we'll drop this shoulder down. but maybe keep this one up. That's not really how it is in real life or in the photograph, but I like that for the movement. I might even use the lasso tool to select this and move it down a little bit. Oops, I grabbed some of the chin. The chinny chin chin. Let's try that selection again. No chin this time. Here we go. And there we go. This is going to be fun at the end when I compare my sketch to my photo and see how off, how accurate it really was. I really love this exercise in not tracing, but trying to use photographic evidence or a photographic reference as what it is, reference. So not trying to get it exact, but having it help you inform your drawings. All right, and then I'm also going to just add a little bit of shape for the hair. The hair is covering a lot of my face on this side, and it has kind of this triangular shape coming up. Has a mind of its own up here, and it has a little bit peeking out over here, which is awesome because if I were drawing this like without a photograph, I would add hair right there just to bring hair around on both sides of the face, just as a graphic element. So I'm glad that my photo reference already has that in place. All right, let's move my reference a bit over here so we can keep playing with this hair a little bit. And let's move my sketch over a little as well. We'll turn this one off. That's fine. Right now the hair looks kind of like a wig. Let's fix that. Sketch is starting out like Ex Machina, like the robot in that. I've actually never seen that movie. Sorry. If it's the movie you're talking about. All right, I think I made the hair a little bit too big at the top. My hair is big and full of secrets, but it's not that big. So let's use our lasso tool. Someday I won't get the transform and the lasso tool mixed up anymore, but today is not that day. And if you start to feel yourself just getting too noodly, like you're not even sure where you're drawing anymore, you can start over on that section. You can turn down the opacity and kind of take another swing at it. Don't feel trapped in the direction that you are going because this is your work. You get to decide. And if it's possible, I think I made the forehead even too big. It's this amazing way to draw a figure. Oh, I'm so glad, Sarah. I hope you guys can draw along with me. We're going to increase the size of this a bit. I'm just tapping on my screen on the left or the right size. Can you see that? Tap, 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 tap. It's moving it left and right. Tap, 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 tap. I love that new feature. That looks pretty good. And we'll do the same with the right eye, or the left eye, I guess. Transform it. Go up a bit and over. Cool, that's looking more like me already, I think. Just tapping on my screen, it's super intuitive. Okay, good enough for now. Zoom out. We'll change that 5 head back to a 4 head and then back to a 5 head again, probably. Okay. I'm not in love with this really rough sketch I've done for the hair so far. I might just select it all and delete it. Boom. I'm not scared. Say one thing about me. Say I'm not scared. All right, and let's be a little bit more intentional with this. So we got the bangs over here. I'm trying to draw the hair kind of as a larger shape and less of like strand by strand, but more like chunks. Chunky hair. Got some movement downwards and outwards and forwards and under and outwards. There we go. That feels much more like hair, don't you think? And guess what? This is only the second sketch layer. You know there's going to be more. You know it. Okay, cool. I'm digging it. You had no idea Adobe was this advanced? Wow. Thanks. This is just practice, and I hope you guys are practicing along with me. This is not intended to be perfect, nor is it. But the only way to get better at drawing portraits is to practice. Okay, cool. So let's go to our next layer of sketch. This is the layer where we are really going to nail down those areas that we want to focus on and the areas that we're going to keep minimalistic. So I'm going to really focus on the eyes and the nose and the hair and keep everything else pretty simple. Stacy, hello, this is my first time here and I like it. Are you using an iPad? Yes, Stacy, I'm using an iPad Pro. Got it right here. And this is Fresco. It's a free app. You can try it out. There are some premium features if you have a Creative Cloud subscription, but not necessary. Soothing voice, just like Bob Ross. What's up, Shay Shay? Aw, how you doing? You know, Shay, I was going to do a portrait of you. I was going to do some family portraits. But then I thought that might be weird. So I just did one of myself. How are ye? Are you practicing drawing with me? I hope so. All right, so we have our empty layer and let's get to focusing on the areas we want to focus on. Now I could switch my brush now to something that's a little bit more detailed, like the charcoal pencil. I could go to something that's super soft. I think we'll save the softness for the end. Sarah says, your mom has good hand drawing, good hand like lettering. You're definitely going to tell her about this. Awesome. Hope that she watches. Let's just do the charcoal pencil and see where that gets us. So again, remember in the reference, doesn't need to be super realistic, but we are just going to put that extra focus in the areas that we want the viewer to focus on. The eyes are the gateway to the soul. What's up, Kai Kai? How you doing? Kai is my little artist buddy. Okay, so let's move the reference down a little bit, just so we know exactly what we're working with. Again, we're not tracing, we're just referencing. And let's work on some of the details of the eye. I probably should have put it on the right side instead of the left, but let's see what we can do with this. So the angle of the top of the eye is more horizontal, and then angles downwards. The actual eyeball shape cuts in this way, and my tear duct pulls more like this. This is when you can kind of start roughing in where you want like the iris and the pupil to be. There you go. And one thing at least I noticed in school when I was drawing a lot of faces is when the person's looking directly at you, usually the pupils are closer to the top eyelid than right in the center. That's how you can kind of make an eye look in the middle. But for right now, I'm just gonna kind of shade in how this is going. It's made my eyes look a little bit sad, this kind of horizontal line right on top, but I kind of like that. It's kind of a moody look, a moody vibe. And this is where you can start building in that value. How much time do we have? About 10-15 minutes. I think we can get some good detail going on in here in that time. Cool. And then at the bottom, you'll notice that there is no real hard line. Like you see the inside of my eyelid, like the top of my eyelid, but it's not a hard line because I'm not wearing like heavy makeup down there, or else there would be. So I want to make sure I keep that soft if I want to make it more realistic. Just draw darkness where you see it and don't where you don't. And that is a good way to make something look more realistic. How long have you been doing this amazing artwork using Adobe? Let's see. I learned how to use Photoshop and Illustrator when I was in college and InDesign, but I don't talk about InDesign very much because I'm not very good at it. So it's been like 7 years since I first started using it. Definitely not my whole life, but I've been drawing my whole life. All right, so we've got that focus right there on the eye. We can start building in the eyebrow as well. I want to keep it light. 1, because my eyebrows are kind of light, but 2, because we want that focus to really just be on the eye. So we're going to keep this a little more sketchy. Measure the distance between the 2 brows. Kind of start filling in the other one. And get this other eye going. There's a nice curve with the eye more pulled in this way. Cool. Looking interesting. Stacy says, wow, I need to catch up. Stacy, are you drawing alongside? If you guys do want to share your work with me, if you're on the Discord for Photoshop or Illustrator, I'm on there as well. But you can also get me on Instagram at Kathleen Illustrated. Thanks, Stacy. It's nice. Nice to hear. And don't forget that if you are looking at an eye like this 3/4 view, your face doesn't just go straight through your eye. Like it's not like a line like just straight like that. You need to add that little bit of roundness because it's still an eyeball, it's still round, so it's kind of disrupting the straight line of your profile. You probably have a little bit of roundness underneath as well, where like the bottom of your eye is. Sam, Kathleen on the gram, that's me. And add that cheekbone. There's a lot of just like, it's either a fold inwards or, what is that called? Not a protrusion outwards. That's all humans are, inwards and outwards, over and over again, till you have a human. So we got the outwards of the cheekbone, the inwards, the outwards under the eye, outwards over the eye, inwards right at the top, and then the curve of the forehead. Get this angle of the chin in there. It's more vertical. And note like where the nostrils are. Noses are hard because they are kind of soft. There's no bone in them except for at the top. So it's hard to draw them definitively. They're more of like just shadow and highlight, modulating. And that's why you might want to focus on the nostrils because that's where there's a lot of shadow. It's basically black. So you can start there and then kind of build from there. She looks like a Disney princess. I've gotten that before with my artwork. Maybe that's just kind of the style that I draw in. Don't think I have a very Disney-esque style, but it definitely is a little more cartoony. All right, that's all right for the nose for now. Again, not super detailed. And I think I need a little bit more space between the nose and the lip, if I'm going off of the photo reference more accurately. So we'll start it further down here. Just sketching in lines. This third layer of sketching is probably the one that I put up the most time into, because this is when you're really making decisions, you know? Really deciding where things are. It's not just fun and games anymore. Disney-nessy. I was trying to say Disney princess, but it just turned into a mess. All right, keep this light, keep the shadow under my lip light. And there we go. It would be fun to do these sketches, like try and do a finished piece in 5 minutes, and then do one in 20 minutes, and then try an hour-long one and see how different they are. I would bet that if you did the 5, the 20, and then the hour, your hour-long one would be a lot better, not only because you spent more time on it, but because you had practice doing it 2 times before, looking at the details 2 times before, and really just learning how to draw the thing. Do you want to build a snowman? That's funny. Especially because Anche's here. Anche is the person that I saw Frozen with. You remember that? We snuck in. Well, we didn't sneak into that. We snuck into the Hobbit afterwards. Don't tell the police. Thin ice. Nice. I love the snow puns. For a second in my head, I was like, is it winter? It's July. 1, it's hard to tell because we've been inside for a long time. But 2, in California, I'm just like, what month is it? The weather's the same all the time. What is going on? My Midwestern heart does not compute. Okay, so we have the eyes designated where I want them. The nose is kind of mapped out a little bit. So let's just go in here and add our simple lines really quickly before the stream ends. So let's turn down this opacity even more. I'm going to do a new layer. Let's move our reference up a bit. And this is where I'm going to be adding in some softer lines, maybe with the vine charcoal. Ooh, that's nice. It's nice as well. Let's go for that. So we'll just add the simple lines for the neck, the shoulder. The hair is going to be here. So the other shoulder is going to be over here. And for now, I'm just going to kind of fill in roughly where the shirt is. And this hair is going to be so fun. Let's see if we can finish it all in the 5-ish minutes that we have left. Actually, we have like 15 because no one's coming on right after me. So we can spend time. Sarah, see you later. Yeah, it's late in the UK. Thanks for hanging out so late. Appreciate it. Come back tomorrow. We will be here. All right, so for hair, I'm really going to utilize the the taper size and the ends of this brush. So we'll start with a really light pressure and then go thicker and then thinner. So it's almost like some movement and some speed to our line. If you're a motion graphics designer, there's going to be some easy ease on these lines, you know? Jason says, take all the time you need. I wish I had all the time in the world. I mean, I can continue drawing after this. But I will be back tomorrow. with another sketch party. Ooh, easy ease. Let's turn down the size a little bit. Turn down the size, decrease the size. Increase a little bit more. Okay, and then where there's like a big highlight, I am just not going to put anything. And we will see how that does for us. So where things are darker, they're going to be thicker. Where things are lighter, they're going to be thinner or no line at all. And again, we're thinking about hair in big chunks. So there's this whole front area that is bang. And that's all going to move kind of together. There's this area over here that can just be its own little shape. We don't need a lot of detail. And then let's fill in some larger areas. Oops. I have this movement kind of going towards the back here. These featherier pieces, a little bit of Farrah Fawcett going on up here. The remnants of my quarantine haircut. That was just me. And some scissors. Get a little more life going on up here at the top. I feel like the sketch Kathleen is judging me. What would I be judging you about? What do I know? What do I know about you, Jan? It is funny. I'm looking at what you guys see and I still feel like it's like a little bit skewed perspective-wise. Let's see if I can get it to look just a tad more realistic. That's closer to what I'm seeing. Boom. Just a little. All right, then I'm just gonna start kind of filling in with darkness because this is just gonna be charcoal, only white and black. So I can't be scared to use large areas of shadow to help me delineate where mass is. So we should have a little more height up here with the hair. And it's kind of rounder. There we go. It's better. Adding some of those, some of this forward movement. It's looking good. Is there a feature in iOS Photoshop that unskews pixels? I don't think so. How would it know that it is skewed? Like if you skew it yourself and it would like revert it back to the original? Is that what you're thinking? Kind of feel like this looks like I have a big highlight, like a big white streak in the front of my hair, which I'm not mad about that. Kind of looks like Rogue from the X-Men, the X-Folks, as it should be called. You probably judge because I eat peanuts and other snacks with a spoon. Yeah, Eric, I don't think you need to be judged about that. You're just trying not to get your fingers dirty. Use the chopsticks. It's good practice. Okay, let's turn off some of these sketches and see where we're at. Nice. That's cool too. So let's jump in here just with the couple minutes we have left and darken up our facial details just a little bit using our charcoal pencil again. And I might even just do a new layer just in case I go a little bit too hard on this. Let's see, there are some shadows. Here and underneath. There's a line there, here, heavier shadow there for sure. Cool, I like this. It's starting to get a little bit more moody. Less Disney princessy, a little more Tim Burton. Maybe we even add a shadow on the cheek. It looks like a little mustache. It's fine. Under the eye. Just to get some more form rendered. And when I say rendered, all that means is like you are shading and you are designating where mass is to make it look more three-dimensional. Maybe a little shadow on the bottom of my nose. Cool. Digging it. Valder, what's up? Chris says, wonderful portrait. So fun to see your process. Thank you. Andre, you caught that X-Men ref. You know. This has been a fun little just drawing session. We started with our reference, with some inspiration. We talked about the different sketch layers you might use, and that really applies to if you are using pencil or marker or iPad. It's just a process, and you can trust the process. Maybe get a little shadow under the lip going. Darken up. Oop, undo. Too dark. Add in some of those eyelash details to darken the top lid just a bit. These last little details you add are some of the ones that make it look the most realistic or finished, but you have to wait until the end to kind of see where you drop those tiny little lines. You gotta build on top of your scaffolding. So I am going to be jumping out here in just a few minutes. I don't think that there's anyone coming on after me, but I do believe that there is a daily creative challenge happening in Australia. Is that right? Something happening at 7 p.m. Pacific time. So check the schedule. I will pop this open. This is what was happening today. And I'm going to be back tomorrow at 2:30 doing tomorrow's sketch party. So we did a lot of sketching today for this one, a la sketch party, but tomorrow we're going to do a lot more just putting down a line, not erasing it, and kind of seeing how realistic we can get without any erasing and not too much sketching. So it's going to be fun. Come back tomorrow at 2:30. It's going to be great, and we'll have a full day of Adobe Live as well. So until then, I will see you all later. Thanks, everybody. See you tomorrow. Goodbye.